It is your host, Dr. Ndukaku Omelo. Welcome to Popaholic Podcast. I want to talk about Burkina Faso in the lens of social determinants of freedom. I will summarize social determinants of freedom as social factors that significantly influence an individual or a group's ability to exercise their rights and freedom, particularly economic and social freedom. These factors influence human well-being and quality of life and self-actualization. It also impacts access to resources, opportunities, and participation or engagement in society or community. Now, in public health and clinical settings, social determinants of health is integral in individual or population-based interventions. Realistically, health determinants are influenced or informed by freedom determinants. So, that being said, it is a human instinct that resilient people will refuse to be enslaved physically, emotionally, mentally, socially, politically, economically, and spiritually. Why is this information important? Because social determinants of freedom are essential parts of human health, quality of life, social cohesiveness, peace, and security. Within the spectrum of human health and quality of life, there is no equity or inequity without sustainability. More importantly, the strength of equity or inequity depends on the strength and scope of its sustainability. What do I mean by this? To maintain equity and quality of life, there must be effective strategies to sustain the essential components that drive and promote a positive quality of life. In contrast to consistently compromise quality of life and create inequity, there must be strategic systems in place to drive and promote disintegration of quality of life. In the lens of public health, promoting human health and quality of life is essential in all aspects of society and require enhanced policies and community engagement. Engaged leadership understands and encourages the commitment of upstream, midstream, and downstream engagement to build and sustain a cohesive, peaceful, and secure society or community. For the past few years, public health has been under serious attack and troubling times of COVID-19 pandemic to funding uncertainty and sustainability crisis. The COVID-19 crisis was a catalyst that prompted many countries to evaluate the scope of their dependency on other countries, at least for a nation that stay conscious. In Sub-Sahara Africa, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali reached a breaking point and decided to reform their country, which is not a bad thing. They are working around the clock to optimize their public health infrastructure to improve the quality of life of its people. Now, here are the key reforms that specifically Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso has implemented to inform and support social determinants of freedom. One, shifting foreign relations. How did he do that? Started by expelling French forces to consolidate national security, sovereignty, and mitigate foreign interference and the exploitation of its natural resources. On September 16, 2023, Burkina Faso partnered with Niger and Mali to create an alliance called Alliance of Sahel States, AES, to create a stronger African economic partnership. AES now has its international passport. Burkina Faso currently has a mutually beneficial partnership with many other countries, including Russia and Turkey. Another approach they took was strengthen national security and defense. They reinforced the military and mobilized civilian volunteers to combat violent extremists to create peace and security in local communities. Word of the Nation Initiative was created to provide free education and health care to children of their fallen heroes and those injured, protecting their national security. Education Initiative. They advanced educational support by establishing an affordable and accessible educational system for all citizens, especially those who are currently in extreme poverty. Economic diversification. What they did about this was they constructed the country's first gold sector to specifically increase their country's GDP, revenue, and economic benefits. They also suspended gold export permits of small-scale private gold production facilities to combat illegal trade and exploitation. They launched a state-of-the-art gold mine in 2023 to create local processing capacity. They stopped the export of unrefined gold to Europe to create local gold processing jobs in Burkina Faso to build 21st century skills in gold processing in the country. In manufacturing industry, they established the first ever local tomato processing plants. They built and enhanced Burkina Faso's second cotton production plant. They launched the first ever National Support Center for Artisanal Cotton Production, and in financial independence, they opened the first state-owned bank to push for Burkina Faso economic sovereignty and independence. The bank provides and will continue to provide funding for local development projects, including public health infrastructure. They rejected the IMF and World Bank loan offers. Under agriculture modernization and food security, Captain Ibrahim Traore is working with the local team to improve agricultural productivity. The agricultural modernization efforts include the distribution of farm equipment and improved seed to farmers. Under public health and medical infrastructure, these are the things so far that Captain Ibrahim Traore has done. They officially launched the Presidential Health Initiative to build 55 community medical centers and 5 intensive care units. The goal is to optimize and modernize public health and health system and medical infrastructures in Burkina Faso to improve healthcare access, especially in rural areas. With support from Islamic Development Bank and Livelihood Fund, the Ministry of Health and local authorities launched 15 mobile health clinics totaling $8.8 million. This project is the first innovative mobile clinic initiative in Burkina Faso and will facilitate clinical preventive health services for life-threatening diseases such as cervical cancer, breast cancer, HIV, hepatitis B and C to underserved, displaced, and isolated population. The mobile clinic health system or health unit is part of the $26.58 million initiative to strengthen primary health. Now, under infrastructure development, Captain Ibrahim Traore is funding road expansion projects across Burkina Faso and upgrading paved roads. Ouagadougou Johnson Airport is under construction to optimize trade and tourism in the country. A total of $253 million logistic project is in progress. The project includes dry ports, highways across the country, railway links, warehouses, and trade zones. They also invested in sustainability, specifically sustainable energy grids. Captain Ibrahim Traore is developing self-sustaining solar power plants. They are conducting research to create biomass and biogas projects that are agriculturally waste-based energy production. The solar energy and mini-grids will supply electricity to roughly 1 million citizens in Burkina Faso. Now, all this said and done have expected outcomes. Like I said earlier, social determinants of freedom inform social determinants of health. One of the indicators in any country on the scope of their social determinants of health is life expectancy. Currently, the life expectancy in Burkina Faso as of 2024 is 58.5 years. Based on all this reform, the expectation is to improve the quality of life of people in Burkina Faso to significantly improve life expectancy, maternal, and infant health. The gross domestic product of Burkina Faso as of 2021 was $19.7 billion. This is before Ibrahim Traore took over the country. The GDP as of 2023 was $20.3 billion. If we go back to 1990s, the GDP of Burkina Faso was around $3.2 billion. And if we compare it to what it is in 2023, that means it has increased to from $3.2 billion to $20.3 billion as of 2023. Extreme poverty declined from 83% to 27.7% from 1990 to 2023. Since Captain Ibrahim Traore became the president in 2022, the GDP grew from $19.7 billion in 2021 to $21.9 billion in 2024. According to the 2023 and 2024 Human Development Report, Burkina Faso has low human development and ranked 185 out of 193 countries on the Human Development Index. For Inequality-Adjusted Human Development Index, Burkina Faso also ranked 185 out of 193 countries. For Gender Development Index, Burkina Faso also ranked 185 out of 193 countries. For Gender Inequality Index, Burkina Faso also ranked 185 out of 193 countries. Burkina Faso is 149 out of 167 countries on the 2024 Sustainable Development Goals Index. We also know that the Multidimensional Poverty Index indicates that 64.5% of the population is multidimensionally poor in Burkina Faso. Captain Ibrahim Traore's goal is to change the adverse social determinants of poverty by engaging in attaining constructive social determinants of freedom and independence. The Institute for Security Studies, African Future, and Innovative Team shows that Burkina Faso's economy could grow at an average rate of 8% from 2025 to 2043. This projection would provide additional GDP per capita of $1,120 above a business as usual forecast. It will reduce income poverty to 2.6% of the population, approximately 2.4 million Burkinabés from poverty. The report suggested that governance reforms are critical to unlocking the country's development potentials. In addition, good governance will add additional $240 GDP per capita. Thus, additional 500,000 Burkinabés will be lifted from extreme poverty. The beacon of social determinants of freedom is to overcome political instability, violent extremism, and weak institutions. Institutional and structural reform must be established to enhance security, accountability, public sector efficiency, and governance inclusion. The stabilization effort in Burkina Faso resulted in the loss of 40% of Burkina Faso's territory. This effort undermined the state's authority and ability to deliver public services, as thousands of schools and health facilities are closed in many areas. This is the challenges facing Captain Ibrahim Traore. However, Captain Ibrahim Traore is currently building stronger institutions and strengthening existing ones to improve public sector efficiency and combat corruption and destabilization efforts. All this said, it's clear that Captain Ibrahim Traore has accomplished since 2022 when he assumed office in Burkina Faso. These are great achievements, with no doubt. It is very remarkable. In the word of the Igbos, we say, Onye ọbụla si na ibe dị mma adụrụ ya mma, ya jiri nkata chụwe mmiri. What do I mean by this? What does it mean? It means whoever suggests that progress is a bad thing shall continue to fetch water with basket or strainer. Some people call it colander. Now, in the words of Chadwick Boseman, to he who have water, let he be watered. I will add, to he who has inspired, let him be inspired. Informed knowledge helps individuals to make informed decisions. Overall, in the word of Dr. John Henry Clark, he said, I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to the subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach. Africa cannot reach optimal quality of life and fulfill self-determined independence and freedom without creating and sustaining infrastructures for self-reliance. And yes, Captain Ibrahim Traore is working to implement culturally tailored infrastructures in Burkina Faso. So, for all the distractors, conspirators, and antagonists, who would not inspire Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, President of Mali, Niger, and the rest of Africa to realize their optimal potential of social determinants of freedom, I said to them, know that you cannot stop one of the most famous words of Thomas Sankara. He said, while revolutionaries as individuals can be murdered, you cannot kill their ideas. If you haven't subscribed to Popaholic, please do me a favor. Follow the link below, subscribe to our channel, support the work we do in public health, support the work we do in sustainability, and support the information we share by subscribing and sharing this video. Free Africa. Leave Ibrahim Traore alone. Thank you.